followed by 15 seconds of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Chad Melinda.
Here.
Bill Niemeyer.
Here.
Ryan Hartley.
Here.
Ethan Maple.
Here.
And Terry Reese.
Present. Okay, before we get to the public comments, we have a special recognition by Police Chief Bob Ely.
Thank you, Council President. Council, you know I'm the first to brag my officers if I know something's happening. Well, something happened, and I wasn't made known about it until another department contacted me to let me know about an effort that two officers from New Palestine did that I feel was very extraordinary. They put themselves in danger, and they saved a life. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of what I was sent, so you guys kind of get a little bit of background. On Saturday, May 18th, 2024, around 9:45 p.m., a call was dispatched out to officers and deputies about an intoxicated driver traveling eastbound on 1200 North in Shelby County, 600 South in Hancock County. This is the western portion of the counties. The intoxicated driver call was sent to Hancock County Sheriff's deputies, Shelby County deputies, and New Palestine officers in the area to attempt to locate the vehicle. Before any officers could make it to the area to locate the vehicle, the driver crashed, rolled his vehicle just inside of Shelby County, down one of the big steep embankments that they have on the side roads. New Palestine Police Department officers Bowman and Whitaker were first on scene. These two officers quickly and without hesitation went to work on attempting to remove the driver from the severely crashed vehicle. It was upside down, the driver was unconscious, still trapped inside the vehicle, and barely breathing. Officer Bowman and Whitaker of New Palestine PD were successful in extricating the driver from the entangled vehicle. Both officers' quick actions didn't stop there. They realized this man was struggling to breathe from possible narcotics overdose, and without hesitation, they administered Narcan in an effort to get him breathing again. They were successful. Now, this is a quote from Deputy Nick Ernst from the Hancock County Sheriff's Department. He's the one that contacted me and let me know this kind of went on, because my guys are, I wouldn't say, they're not looking for recognition, but they did their job. They did it well. Deputy Nick Ernst says, I fear that without this very effective and efficient work performed by these two officers, the outcome for this man's life may have been different. It is a blessing that these two officers relied upon their experience and training to have a successful outcome from such a tragic accident. The investigation was turned over to the Shelby County Sheriff's Department. I was present for their heroic actions of these two officers and feel these two officers need to be commended for their efforts. Respectfully submitted, Sergeant Nick Ernst, Hancock County Sheriff's Department, Narcotics K-9 Handler. And I couldn't agree more. Very proud of these two young men. So if you guys could, I'd like to present you guys. Come up here to the front. Stand up here if you wouldn't mind. This is the New Palestine Police Department Life-Saving Award issued to Officer Douglas Whitaker, Wade, and Officer Cole Bowman. If I could get applause for them. You guys make me sound proud. Stand, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Stand for one picture, please.
Did somebody mention that?
What?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Council. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Chief's taking you guys for steak later, right?
Yeah. I think that's what he told me. How's it start?
Or the most expensive thing on the menu.
Yes. It's all me. But it's the big size.
You guys don't want to stay for the meeting? Come on.
The fun hasn't even begun.
We're gonna talk about food trucks. No? That didn't do it?
You could empty the room.
No, I don't think so. That's for sure.
I'm
Don't say
leaving.
that too loud, everybody will leave.
I'm leaving. We should make everybody move up.
Okay, public comments, 3-minute time limit per person, or, yeah, for items on the agenda only.
I think we should make everybody move up 2 rows.
I know.
We have the same problem at church.
Okay. Claims, accounts payable vouchers. Do I have a motion to approve APVs 26472 through 26545?
I'll make a motion that we approve APVs as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Questions, concerns? Nope. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to approve the accounts payable vouchers A26472 through 26545. Adoption of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the town council minutes from May 15th, 2024 as presented?
I'll make that motion to approve minutes from May 15th. I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussions?
I was absent for that meeting, but I have reviewed the minutes.
Good job.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to approve the town council minutes. Old business, food truck ordinance. I haven't seen any discussions going on. Do we have more discussions on this?
I have a couple questions. On 6503F, I know that our kind of review of this centered around this particular provision, and my question is, does this say what we want it to say? And I'm not sure it does. One of my suggestions would be that instead of saying for a period of 48 hours, we say for a period of 2 consecutive days. The 48 hours, if we say period of 48 hours or more hours, and we're talking about operation within any 1 week, to me, I read that and it could separate those 48 hours any way we want throughout that week, and I'm not sure that's what the intention of this provision is.
But does that clarify, and 6504, special events? No.
Well, and that section
Shouldn't have
wouldn't
any-
apply
No,
to
no, no, no.
special events.
No, that wouldn't be it. That's not. S, I believe, 6503, subsection S. It kind of goes through and tells no long-term, no overnight, cannot, I don't know.
No,
Does-
the way I read F, in theory, for 6 straight days, someone could come and open their food truck for 8 hours during the allotted time, remove their food truck at night, and come back. And my understanding was we were initially concerned about cleaning up some of this language so that we wanted a break between a food truck in one location, was my understanding. So we were okay with 2 days, and then, taking a break for the rest of the week and then giving that space back. But I think the way this reads, it confused me, and my question is, does it say what we want it to say? That's what I wrote on my notes here. And I think that operate from the same parcel of property for a period of 48 hours or more hours within any 7 consecutive day period. I could interpret that as saying Monday through Saturday, I can set up 8 hours a day as long as I moved it in the evening. And Zach, maybe you can speak to language, but if we changed 48 hours to 2 consecutive days, does that clean that up?
It does. Personally, I read period of 48 hours, meaning a consecutive period of 48 hours, just as a 7-day consecutive period. I can certainly see the addition of the word consecutive being added. That would certainly help. So we can add that if that makes you feel more comfortable with that.
But if it's consecutive, and I'm not there 48 hours, I'm only there 40 hours, and then I leave, and I come back, I start a whole new 40-hour clock running. So, and you know, I agree with Ethan that I don't know that that's the spirit of what we were trying to avoid. It was to avoid the food truck being in the same location for a protracted time period. So,
But don't you take care of that when they, I think there's validity to your question. We're not worried about them staying overnight because they're not allowed to,
right, they can't stay
they
overnight.
can't leave it overnight. What we're basically trying to do on this final piece is say, define, is 48 hours 48 operating hours or 48 hours, which I think gets a little confusing to your point. How do you interpret it? Like, I think we could probably enforce it, but should we say 2 operating days?
Right. The 48 hours of operation, we already limit when they can operate from 10 or from
6 to 10.
6 to 10. So if we say 2 consecutive days, then we're saying, listen, within a 7-day period, you can only operate for 2 consecutive days.
48 hours is a bit interpretive.
Yeah, well, and again, if you want to test it, you're there for anything less than 48 hours and you leave and you come back, you just started the clock over.
Well, you haven't used all your 48 hours within that 7-day period. So someone could use it that way too, right?
Yeah,
It's interpretive.
yeah.
Well, it's the same location. So
Cool.
I can go back to the same location.
Yeah.
Same
That's
parcel
one
of
of
private
my
property.
This now says that the same property. Because what we were concerned with was
Correct, yeah, yeah.
if you rolled forward 1 foot,
Yep.
you weren't in the same
I read that.
location.
But if they went to a different spot,
That's a different story.
yeah.
So I guess if I were to make an amendment, I would simply change 48 hours to 2 consecutive days. That's what I would offer as an amendment to what we have here.
The only thing I'd push back on, if they bought the pass and they wanted to do Monday and Friday, is there an issue there?
No, because you've said 2 consecutive days. You can't do 2 consecutive
Within a-
days.
Within a 7-day period, so they could. They just couldn't do more than 2
They couldn't
consecutive
do
days.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Right.
Yeah. And with that, then after the word more, you'd have to get rid of the word hours, because once you get rid of 48 or more hours, so it would say for a period of 2 consecutive days or more within, so you have to delete the word hours there.
Right.
I think that's a good clarification. And while we're talking about clarifications, I'd like to propose one, because if you turn the page and you look at 65.03L as in Larry, and compare that with U as in unicorn, those 2 sections basically say almost identically the same thing. The wording is slightly, in my opinion, better in U than it is in L. Personally, I don't see any reason to have nearly identical language in both locations. So that clause is the very ending of L. I would recommend deleting that completely, because we have U that says the same in my opinion, a slightly better manner. And then the only other thing that I would like to do is then take the same wording that is in U and add it in 65.04 under special events as letter C. And the reason for that addition is because 65.04 applies to special events and 6503 does not. So the protection of having the town manager being able to shut down a nuisance or something that is endangering public safety you can't do if that situation exists at a special event. So those are two changes that I would recommend. And I'd also like to just say, I am 100% in favor of voting on this ordinance this evening, knowing that these clarifications can easily be made, and I don't see any reason whatsoever to table this item to the next meeting. Just because we want to make a couple clarifications, that's just my thought. I don't know if
No,
anybody else has any other thoughts.
Yeah,
I had a couple other questions or suggestions. One was going back to the 200 feet. I was looking, and just kind of without having the in front of me, I know it's not official, but I was playing on Beacon and looking at kind of the length. If we go from 200 to 150, then that takes out a restrictive area in front of AutoZone where we talked about the potential of a food truck kind of thing. We don't want to limit that. The neighborhood north of like where Subway and Mama Nita's is. So just take, and it kind of, the 200 restricts areas that I could foresee food trucks being invited in for business or for community. But if we move it to 150, it really kind of creates more of those spaces in those defined areas that I was looking at. And so I would make that recommendation that we move it from 200 to 150 for those reasons. It really limits some of those areas that I think we could imagine food trucks operating and being effective both for community, the town, and for their own business.
This is just a question. If you're like AutoZone, for example, would that fall under a special event?
If they came in and asked, or we gave it to them just by our own virtue. But I'm not sure we need or want to do that every time. Should that bring up? And there were other examples. Those are just two I offer. Up and down Main Street, that the 200 number is more restrictive in areas that I think we could imagine food trucks operating effectively in versus the 150. And I would just suggest that a 150 does not create too much of a congested area, but create some of those areas that food trucks could operate effectively in.
Me personally, I think, again, the AutoZone and even neighborhood associations for a limited use or, special event, I think that's a perfect reason for them to come in and ask for a special event. And I haven't looked at where the difference between 150 or 200 might allow food trucks along Main Street, but I know one of the concerns was to be a little bit more restrictive along Main Street, because where we did have the one food truck, it was a terrible safety situation of people backing out onto US 52. So, I mean, my opinion, right now the ordinance says 300 feet. We're reducing it to 200. I'd like to give the 200 feet a little bit of play and see how it works. And do we have people that come in and say that the 50 foot would make a big difference? And if that's the case, then we consider it a future date, change it to 150. I like the 200.
I've always been in favor of the shorter distance. And I understand why it was put in there. We wanted to give brick and mortar a chance. But I don't know if anybody's tried to eat dinner in New Pal recently, but you can bounce through 3 restaurants and have a hard time getting into them, right? So I don't think that's as much of an issue. I think even at the location that we were at, Ryan probably knew a guy or taped it out himself, but it was like 171.
It was 114 feet, I believe, using Beacon, which is not correct, but it was 114 foot from the front of the truck to the corner of the building, and that was given some grace in there as well. So,
So that
they still
location
didn't.
wouldn't,
Right, that location wouldn't be an
Okay.
issue. Really, the 200 pushes that limitation and that restricted to some of the neighborhoods, not necessarily right on, but behind, like AutoZone and that area over there, the apartments, the neighborhood, north of McDonald's, those type of places, which I can imagine, I don't imagine there's a necessity to restrict food trucks to those areas, or from those areas. So that's why I'm suggesting the 150. When I did the beacon and went through every restaurant on Main Street and just did, okay, what does 200 feet look like? That's what I did to kind of say, there's a big difference in our restrictions between 150 and 200. So I like Bill.
I could be persuaded, Ethan. Persuaded.
I have no problem voting on this, and I would offer those two amendments, moving from 200 to 150 feet, as well as the change in language in that section 65.3F. And I agree with Bill on his deleting and then adding to
The one note I would want to put on that is, it seemed like there were some limitations in one that they expanded on in the other, just as long as the two of them, we get one that covers the same ground between the two.
Yeah, and that's why if you delete the language
Yeah.
in L and only use U and repeat it verbatim as C under 6504, then you're 100% consistent.
Good. Yeah, cool.
I'm okay with everything that was presented. I'm okay with the 150. I'm okay with changing the verbiage. This is a living document. You know, we can test it. We can, if it doesn't work, we can amend it in the future.
I'm sure everybody would love for us to.
I will second Ethan's motion.
Can you name it? Can we name it? I'll tell you the name of it, the number. So
Sure.
it would be 060524A.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Councilman, one question for you, when you see the this. You're talking about these parking. Are you talking street parking? Because part of our town ordinance says that there is limited street parking. So no tractor, semi-tractor, trailer, or truck used as commercial purpose shall be allowed to park on the streets at any time except while loading, unloading cargo within the town. So if you're talking about streets, you might think about changing that ordinance as well.
Well, I think that ordinance is a parking ordinance, and that would absolutely apply to food trucks.
Yeah.
So, and
if you're
I,
talking about street park, allowing streets, we need to make sure we keep that in our minds when we do that.
That's fair.
Thank you.
Okay. So the motion has been,
Terry,
to the extent that Ethan's motion was to approve ordinance number 060524A, I'll second that.
this is one where you need unanimous consent with
Oh.
everyone,
okay.
and then a 3/5 vote approving. So as long as everyone has stated unanimous consent to go ahead and pass on first reading, and then you can
Do we have to
vote.
vote on
with-
unanimous consent?
You
Well,
don't.
we have to vote and then see if it's unanimous.
Got it.
So, and then with the caveat of the amendments.
Was your intent to approve this on its first reading, or just to make the
That
first?
was your motion.
Okay. I'm okay
And
in this
his intent.
particular case. We've talked about it an awful lot.
Yes.
With the 4 amendments that were discussed, at least
Right.
that's how I understood your motion.
So I need to first make a motion to do a unanimous consent?
No, you
Correct.
made the
Yes,
motion to
yes.
approve it.
Hold on.
Yes, motion for unanimous consent to approve on first reading, and then the 3/5 vote.
I make a motion to do what Zach said. With unanimous approval. Consent.
On the first reading.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor? We've
Aye.
already discussed.
Aye.
Aye.
So that was unanimous.
That's good. Now I would like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 060524A with the 4 amendments as discussed on the first reading.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. We've discussed. Any, all in favor? Say aye. Okay, aye.
I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules of procedure, and at this time, we consider ordinance number 060524A on second reading.
I will second that motion.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
aye. Aye.
We have a
Opposed?
food truck
Okay.
ordinance.
Should I pound that? Okay. All right, moving on to another ordinance. Ordinance 060524, extending no parking zone on North Depot Street. Has everybody read this? No?
No, I have.
Oh, I thought he said. Okay, so do I have a motion to,
Let's get the ordinance number.
It's already on there, 060524.
Oh, I'm sorry, when I printed it. Is it B?
No, that's why there's alpha, which was the
yeah,
second.
That one,
oh,
okay.
And this is the first reading on this one as well.
oh,
Yes.
So
Okay.
it's the same process.
okay.
Yeah.
Do we have a unanimous?
I would
Decision.
actually ask one question. With this type of ordinance, with the houses that this affects, have we at all communicated this ordinance to them?
Shouldn't have to.
I know we don't have to.
Well, it's just, it becomes an issue, getting emergency vehicles or anything through there. When we get to the very north end of North Street, for whatever reason, that street's probably about 2 foot narrower. And that seems to be where they're parking at, so that creates a problem. We don't want them parking next to 52 as well, because that creates a site issue. We've had some people park there at the very corner, so just keeping that street clean would be nice.
I don't disagree with the ordinance. I just want to make sure we're communicating effectively with our community before the ordinance comes into effect. And so I guess one of my suggestions would be that we do not pass it on a first read, but we consider it for a first vote. And is there a way that we can communicate or send letters or something to the
Yeah, if you look at the properties through there, really, the first two homes have drives.
Right.
And that's where they need to park at. You go further down, you have the apartments, which has all their parking in the back. Then you have that monstrous-looking yellow home.
Yeah.
They park kind of right there on the side as well. So really, there's just, if I knocked on anybody's door, I wouldn't ask, other than, why wouldn't they use their drives? So
I'm not saying you ask permission. I'm suggesting that maybe, in terms of communication, because when this ordinance came up, every time I drive through there, and I've made an attempt to walk or drive through there the last week or so, there isn't hardly anybody that I've seen parked on there.
Yeah.
So what I've seen is maybe 1 or 2 cars on any given day, but I understand that it could be more problematic if we do not have an ordinance. And I'm fine with the ordinance. I would just wonder if we approve it on the first reading and then make sure that we're communicating with a letter or something to those homes on Depot that we're going to do that. Is there a problem doing so?
there's not, or we could always fall to the little bitty ad we put in the paper for subdivisions and everything, it's kind of up to them, so.
I kind of like the idea of doing both.
How much is
And-
an ad gonna cost versus sending a
30.
letter to five homes?
We don't have to send it, so,
$26.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like sending a letter,
Keep
yeah.
in mind too, that this is just amending an existing ordinance from 1966 where there is no parking on North Depot between Main Street and Mill Street. We're merely extending that further north. Because Depot Street really serves a lot of functions. It's the main north-south street. It ties into Crystal Heights, which in turn ties into Jim Road. It ties into Bridgewood, which in turn ties into 450 West. So it's probably the main road in the center of town that we really should keep clear of traffic.
I agree with you 100%. I just think if we are amending a document that's 60 years old, or an ordinance that's 60 years old, I think going above and beyond is what I would like to do. From my perspective on the council, the more we communicate with our community, the better. And so if we can send a letter to those houses saying this ordinance has passed on its first reading and will be voted upon at second reading at our next council meeting, that at least gives them an opportunity to come and say something, if they want to come and say something. I don't disagree with the ordinance, I want to make that clear.
So we'll send it out to where, right, what, from Mill Street north to those homes?
That's
Those
fine.
2 homes there are.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a lot of homes,
Yeah,
I
you're
just think
talking-
it's appropriate to communicate.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there are those apartments, there has been a car parked right there at the four-way stop,
Yep.
just south of it.
Yeah.
And,
But again,
that's
the
in
only-
the no
the-
parking zone.
The only people affected by the change is that group
A
around.
few homes.
Well, really at
And
North
this
Street.
is probably a perfect example of an ordinance not to suspend the rules and to do it in a 2-meeting sequence for that very reason.
Yep.
So I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 060524 on first reading this evening.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion approved and second motion, yeah.
And we'll
and second-
send letters out this
We'll
week.
get
Okay.
letters sent out.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I agree. Okay. All right.
Are you gonna call for a vote?
Oh. Do we have a vote?
Yes.
Aye.
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passed.
So talk to them
First
before we
read.
put the no parking signs up. Got it.
Start towing tomorrow.
Send it out fast.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, bid opening for community crossing project. Mr. Poole.
Yeah, this is, same project we are awarded thankfully every year. And, this is the night when we've got all the bids in. We had 5 different companies come and pick up, contract documents and bid packets. And out of the 5, 4 of them returned, bids. So, Zach is gonna be kind enough to, open the bids and state the name of the contractor and read off the amount of the bid.
That sounds
Ready when you're ready. Bear with me as I open these. They're
Drum roll.
taped up
Everything,
pretty
because
secure.
he has to pick out one paper out of probably 40, so,
So the first one is Robertson Paving.
okay.
And the total bid amount is $228,112.
Even.
Yes.
So that amount is 228,112.
Correct.
Okay.
time to.
All right. The next one is Howard Companies.
Some of them wrap them up pretty good.
Yeah, they've taped over the grass. Those are theirs. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
393,624.
Okay, let me read that back to you. 393,624.
Correct.
Okay.
This one is Grady Brothers.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Mhm.
161,922.
So that amount is 161,922.
Correct.
Okay. Mayor. You got a pocket knife?
Yeah. Anybody has a knife or a?
Yep.
Got it, Jim.
God, I heard the whole time waiting.
He couldn't wait.
Someone needs to put that button on my phone.
Sure, right there, I'm like, use it all the time.
Scared. Yeah.
Did I get you?
Is it sharp?
Yeah, I've cut a lot of stuff with it.
I couldn't cut butter with this thing.
Oh.
Hey, can you call the officers back in? We're gonna need some more first aid. Who's this one?
David Mayor.
This one is Dave O'Mara, correct? Total is $193,305.75.
So $193,305.75.
Correct.
Okay. So Zach, would you like to talk about how we should go about, I know I talked to Ted this morning.
Sure. I talked to Terry before the meeting started. So what we'll do, Ted felt more comfortable if you guys went ahead and made a motion to authorize Steve to review these and come back. He's just gonna make sure they all comply with all the bids,
Specs.
so, correct.
I'll make a motion that we authorize Steve to review the bids and at the next meeting to make a recommendation. Is that,
I like to, these guys tend to get busy real quick, and I like to get these projects done when school's out, with the windows getting smaller and smaller on that. So, I would like to have permission to, once I go over the bid tab, to just go ahead and award the, lowest responsive and responsible bidders. And then there's a contract that you guys can come and sign anytime.
and just to be clear, that doesn't necessarily mean the lowest price bid, because if they've left out items or what have you, I mean, we're not saying go with the lowest of those four bids.
No, and I'll definitely go over them, because some of these are, you know, it's like one of them's double another, so I'm definitely gonna.
Yeah, the range is
With-
wild.
With the fine.
Huge.
Well, it depends a lot, like, some of these companies are really bigger companies, you
Mhm.
know. So,
Steve,
a lot more overhead.
can you remind me what the scope of this project is that they bid on?
Yeah, we're gonna be doing some, patching on, Jim Road, on the northbound lane, specifically 4 to 5 feet in from the edge of pavement, from Mill Street down to, I think probably the first drive of Harding, or the second drive of Harding Farms.
Okay.
And then we're gonna be doing crack sealing in Harding Farm, that subdivision. We're gonna mill and repave, Coventry Court, which is that road that runs, that nobody knows about, the name of it, that runs right alongside McDonald's, has a little cul-de-sac in the back.
Right.
And then we're also going to do Crystal Heights, we're gonna do inch F, mill and repave in there, and also, update their 88 curb ramps.
When you do Crystal Heights, is there any change to the speed bumps? Are we
I'd like to
taking-
take them out.
are we taking them out?
Speed bumps.
Right, I mean, that's my question, are we,
You can, and they've asked me that before, and a lot of times if there's one existing, I'll say, yeah, go ahead and put it back, but, I don't like them as a traffic calming device. For every 1 or 2 people who want them, 10 people will complain when you put them in. They're not good on, to me, they're like an inverted chuck hole.
right,
You know, people with bad backs don't like them. It's not great on cars. You know, several different reasons why I'm not a big fan of them.
Okay, like I'd be in favor of nixing them too. I'm not sure
Yeah.
that's our call, but I just was curious about the scope. So it sounds like that's quite a bit of work. And the community crossings, is that a matching grant?
Yeah, for towns with a population of less than 5,000,
Yeah.
I think towns with a population less than 5,000, it's a 75-25. We have to put up 25% and not match the 75 for a town or a county. With a town with over that, it'd be 50-50. For a county,
Right.
and you can maybe back me up, it's 50 or more thousand.
50,000.
Yeah, and theirs is 50-50 match. So
free
it's
money.
good.
No,
It's good.
I know you work hard
A dollar.
at applying for them, and I appreciate that. I just wanted, so with all of that information, I have no problem giving you the authority to choose the most responsible and reasonably priced bid without having, so that we can move forward on the project. I'm comfortable with that. But do we need a motion for that? How does that work? Then I would like to make that motion that, is there more? Is there something else?
Bill, didn't you make that motion?
Did you make that motion?
I withdraw my motion, your motion.
I don't need
Okay.
to make that motion. I mean,
No.
if you made it, great. I'll second it.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
I do want to make sure that we don't take the speed bumps out unless we talk about it more thoroughly. So I think that would affect a lot of people that live there.
I kind of wondered how they were added back in.
Huh?
Bob, do you know?
They've been there for
Yeah.
a long time. And I know it's because we have a lot of Crystal Heights complain because it's such a straightaway. That's why.
It's a thoroughfare.
Yeah, so they're installed in a
It's the
really
easiest one.
long, straight.
Everybody
Section
uses
road.
it, especially when there's something going on Main Street or when there's a train or, you know what I mean? Pull up there, you turn around, come the other way.
A lot of spots, a lot of parents use it in the morning.
There are several families.
Isn't it only
Children.
on one side of the stop sign?
All the way across.
Yeah.
So it's west of Kelly Drive on Stonehaven, but it's also on South Kelly Drive, south of Stonehaven, there's two of them.
So do we have to send letters out to all of them to get their feedback?
No.
So, there's a lot
Come
of
on!
homes.
Are you really?
A stop sign, a
I'm
speed
saying if
bump.
we don't change anything, no harm, no foul. If we change something, we probably need to talk to
Get some
the
input.
people that live there.
There's
agree.
some originals that have lived there for quite a while. It might be worth reaching out to see if that's something they are okay with removing.
But there's no speed bump east of the stop sign, right? Or is
No,
it?
but it also gets into a curve over there. So
Right.
it's kind of a blind curve where once you get past that stop sign, it's a straightaway.
Right.
Same thing with, Kelly Drive.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good straightaway. So in the morning when you're trying
That's
to get
fair.
the school buses, that's one reason I think they put them in over the years.
Okay.
I don't like them either, but I'm just letting you know.
I don't either, but driving through there, they're needed, I think. Okay, so I have a second, and any other discussion? All in favor of authorizing the street commissioner to choose the project? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approved to authorize Steve to make these decisions. Volt, education sessions for town commissions, Jim Robinson.
I don't have a lot on that. It is Tuesday, June the 18th. I think the time is set up between 5 and 6 p.m. That's set with all our boards. So she's going to have information here. I think we're going to do it probably, I don't think she has that to be determined where it's at, but I think we're going to just have it in the Shank Room like we did the last time. So
Okay.
she's got the list of emails. I think everybody's been sent the emails, so hopefully we get a good turnout. At least, like I said, I think the intent is to get somebody trained up, and then if somebody leaves, when somebody comes in, they can help train them up, so hopefully it's good information.
So do it here at Town Hall.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Bacobit Management Group introduction.
Yes, sir.
I'll give
Good
a quick preface here. I asked Mr. Bakovic to come in and introduce. I told him we were excited about the project that he was doing, and with a new council, we could use an introduction. So I asked him if he could find time on our calendar. He made it seem like it was going to take a while, and this has been like 3 weeks from now.
No, I appreciate when Jim also reached out when he said, I'd like you to come out. I said, heck yeah, I'd like to meet the new town council members. But my name's Mohammed Bakovic, with the Organic Group. Looking forward to getting started here. We're still going through the preliminary site plan. I wanted to wait just to get things through the interest rates and so forth, and get final deal with the challenge itself. So, but we're moving ahead. Hopefully have all the elevation sites. We'll back and present. Not my changes are the same one as we talked about, 282 units, same amount of buildings. We decided to take out on the south side of the hospital of the 3-story building and make them all single-story homes. But we'll make that presentation here once we get the site plan permits and secret architects. So we're excited.
Do you have a timeline for
So
any
we're
of
going to
this?
start next year, God willing. But we'll still do all the preparations as far as getting our permits in place and when we start breaking ground. Hoping that, rates and everything has settled to the point that it makes sense because our numbers are written back on about a year or so ago when we went through this thing. And with 7, 8, 9% rates, it changes the numbers pretty drastically of what you command in terms of rents. And we are seeing softening, not so much in Indianapolis, but Chicago, absolutely. Jacksonville, that's been a blind side because there's over 20,000 units that came online this year alone, that are coming online. So not so much in Indy, but there's still, again, we're cautious. The last thing we want to do is build something and not be able to rent.
Makes sense.
Okay.
It was a pleasure to meet you. I appreciate
Yes.
you coming in tonight.
Like,
Yes,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. I'm off to see my kids. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
too.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for coming. Thank you.
All right. The next one is not going to happen. Legal updates.
I don't have anything for you folks.
What?
No updates from me.
No updates. Okay. Department reports. Jim?
Oh, a couple things. Ashton Acres, the senior housing. Boy, I tell you, they moved a lot of dirt this last week. Flipped that thing over. I think, Steve, you say there were some footings? Oh, no, Kyle
No,
said it's
not
sewer.
footing.
I think Monday, Tuesday, they're gonna hook sewer up. Just hopefully we don't have any issues there. The gentleman in front, he's got his backhoe and his truck and things like that right there against the edge of right of way, so make it kind of contentious. Willow Ridge, I think asphalt probably within the next couple weeks.
The next couple
Curbs.
weeks, we just did the proof roll on that, which is making sure that the sub base is stable. Then they were doing, putting in 53s today, I think a little bit yesterday. I get those compacted, and then they'll come through with curb and gutter, and then after that, they'll start paving.
And then Starbucks, probably looking a little over a month, probably about a month and a half, so that's kind of what we've been told, so we'll see how that kind of goes through. Also, Community Foundation, they've got a new Ignite grant coming out. I think the most you can ask for is $50,000. There's several things that I could probably ask for that might pertain to our town park. That has to be in by July 12th, so look forward to get that grant in, see if we can get some monies out of that. Other than that, the high school, that's rolling in pretty good. I think they have a conference this week, this week, and then after that, they're gonna tear out the parking lot, put new parking in, and then try to wrap up the rest of the school. So probably within the next 2 months, the high school should be wrapped up, so. That's good. That's been going on, Jenny, for how long? 2 years?
It's a little bit over.
2.5 years?
Yeah.
And then today, actually, Randy Sorrell came in and talked to me. I think he's going around visiting the community, so it was good to hear from him. He wanted to see, a little bit about the town center project and things that we had going. So he's just kind of taking that information and going from town to town. So it was good to hear from him. That's it.
Jim, have you heard any more information on the potential of annexing that property
Yes, Tammy Adams is in Florida this week, and when she gets back, I have an email from her that says that she wants to be annexed, but we have a form. I couldn't send it to her for her to sign, so she's coming in Sunday, so probably meet with her Monday. We'll have that letter. I've worked with Jared. I think he's doing the fiscal plan on that. I actually have kind of a set of plans that they'll present, so it's moving forward. They're not in a rush on it, so Ted's kind of giving me a little bit of a timeline, but I think he's gonna go back and kind of refresh it, so. But it is moving forward, so we plan on probably within the next 30 days getting that presented to council. 6 homes, 8 acres, they'll be nice homes, so.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing before I forget, yeah. In front of you, you've got a little piece of paper here and their notebooks. They're binders, and it's kind of like this one. This one's kind of ripped up, but I've ordered some, and because, you know, we go to a lot of meetings and things like that, and I always like our little lapel pins, but these will be embossed with the town emblem on them, so you guys will be getting one as well.
Well, we benefited from Jim's ratty folder.
Sorry?
I said we benefited from your ratty folder.
That's right. Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's all good. Thank
Steve?
you.
I think I've covered everything I had to cover. Does anyone has any questions?
Bob?
No, just thanks for making time for what we did earlier. I appreciate that.
Anytime.
Always have time for that. That was very nice. You're a good boss. We have
Just
to
don't
yell
forget-
loud for Yvonne.
Don't forget to buy them dinner.
Jenny, you have anything?
Yvonne is out of the country for 2 weeks, visiting mom and sister family. So I'm Yvonne now. I just have one request. We did not get the sponsorship to Main Street check in this claims. It will be in the next claims. But I would like to have your permission to go ahead and prepay that so we can get that to Main Street before the Summerfest starts. So if that is okay with all of you, we already have it in our budget. It is already approved through the budget. It just, I don't want to write a check for $2,500 and send it off without permission first. So if I could get permission to submit that check, it will be in your next claims package and you will see it there.
I'll make a motion that we pre-authorize the distribution of a check to Main Street for $2,500 so that we can continue to be a sponsor of their events.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion's been approved and seconded, or motion. And any discussion? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
motion passed to pre-authorize Jenny to write the Main Street check. Okay, public comments, 5 minutes, any topic. Okay. Council comments. Ryan?
I'd like to let the rest of the council and everybody know that Terry and I have a meeting with the developers for the town center with NDOT on the 10th, just to discuss some, maybe some potential issues or some planning moving forward on that project, so we can discuss that with NDOT. I'm also trying to kind of piggyback off that, so Terry and I can talk with them about sidewalks down 52. So hopefully that's a good, productive meeting. Look forward to it, and I'll let everybody know how that goes.
You need to try to talk them into like a multi-use path or trails or a trail down there from,
I'll see how receptive they are.
yeah.
They own right-of-way down the south side of 52, except in front of AutoZone. They own quite a bit of right-of-way down through there, and they are, when they
Yeah.
did the intersection improvement at 5 West and 52, they already put sidewalks in and ramps. So it's just a matter of connecting everything. So if we
Yeah.
can get sidewalks, multi-use path I'll see what they're receptive to.
Yeah, it'd be good, because it just seems like in the last even 6 months, I've been seeing like more bikes along there, and man, it's really tight when they get between that guardrail and 52.
Yeah.
And more pedestrians, making that trek down there, and boy, anything, a sidewalk, multi-use path, trail, anything.
Well, I think that
would,
development will help with that.
Yeah,
So if we can make that connection, but having that meeting with NDOT's gonna be important, at least to open the lines of communication, for that potential development and for the walks that everybody wants. So, it's just our first meeting. Hoping it goes well. I think it will. So, we'll let everybody know how that goes. That's on the 10th.
What time will you meet? Oh,
I
11?
believe it's at 11 on the 10th, and it's at the NDOT office. You're more than welcome to come if you'd like.
no,
Who's gonna be there?
sometimes you make a good site visit at a particular time of day, and they'll definitely see the need of, nobody can, maneuver on that highway.
Yeah,
So-
maybe that's something we can do in the future. I know there's probably about 14 people
Oh, yeah.
that's gonna be at this meeting, so several from NDOT. So I just they wanna take a look at the plan for the development. And, again, it's kind of something I'm wanting to piggyback off that development and
Good.
make
Yeah.
that connection. So we'll see how this first meeting goes. It's gonna be a process, as you know. You guys know how that goes. But just having that first meeting is gonna be good, at least open some lines of communication and, shake some hands, put some faces with some names, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
So just letting everybody know about that.
Ethan?
Just a celebration of the end of the year school things for New Powell Community Schools, and certainly congratulations to our graduates from the high school and their achievements and next steps. A slight adjustment, we typically have that first Friday council or chat with the council. It'll be this Friday, but I'm not available, so I appreciate Terry and Bill. We'll be meeting at Dry Bones for that council chat, and I'll make sure you guys get that graphic tomorrow so that we can
Yes.
push it.
Thank you.
And I'll share it through some of the neighborhood groups as well. But that's it.
Thank you. Chad?
Congratulations to the officers. Not only is it awesome to have them a part of this town, but the excitement that I could tell just by you getting ready to read how proud you were of them and how much their actions meant to the town, but also like to do something like that and move on like nothing happened shows the kind of people that we have working for the town. So thank you for setting the example and the leadership to continue to bring them here and want to stay with us. But that was pretty awesome. I was excited to invite Mr. Bukovic out. I think one of the things that we're excited about is controlled growth around here, but I think that is a project that we've been waiting for, and I think most conversations I have with anybody when they find out that I'm a member of the council is, what's going on behind that, so it's exciting to see that we'll start to do something there, but it'll also benefit the town in a lot of ways, give the funds to do things like the redevelopment commission talked about today with extending sidewalks to make this a place where kids can traverse the town in an appropriate manner. So I'm excited about that. And I think that's all I have.
Bill?
I would like to remind everyone that Tuesday, June 11th at 5 o'clock at the Main Street building, there will be a meet and greet with the new superintendent of the school corporation, Dr. Gina Pleak. So I just want to remind everybody so that maybe we have a good turnout there. I know I'll certainly be there. So that's all I have.
Bill, when was that again?
It is June the 11th, which is Tuesday at 5 p.m. at the Main Street building.
It's at 5:30, and I think there's a
Oh, okay.
limited.
It's not a public.
Well, see, I have to
It's
put
not.
5 o'clock so that I am there before 5:30.
Okay. Yeah, it's certain organizations that have been invited. That it?
That's it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, as usual, it gets down to me, and everybody's said everything. But Chad had a birthday this week, so we all
Yay.
got to wish him a
Cake
happy
you
birthday.
brought in, but whatever.
And thank you for the team for passing the food truck ordinance. And Zach, Ted's help on that. And Jenny for holding the fort down. And
Don't thank me
Nervous.
yet.
okay, we'll hold that until Yvonne gets back and tells us how you really did.
That's a big
Okay.
company.
Okay.
They're huge.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Terry, the only, I
Oh.
would just like to add real quick, I will be out of town on vacation for our next meeting, so I won't be here at our next meeting.
Okay.
You were sick at the last one, I want to hear it.
Well, I will
Those two are probably.
not be
close.
here as well.
Yeah.
I'm having surgery, so.
I would like to wish you good luck with your surgery.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
What about my vacation?
Well, I will.
Have fun.
Have fun on your vacation.
Sounds like the other-
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, or I'll second that motion. Yeah, you made the motion, I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Adjourned.